Hello?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. And
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Today we're going to have another interesting topic about the NLP. So, Andaman Intelligence Tourism and Service Informatics Center, or AI-TASi, College of Computing, Sangkhan University, Phuket campus. So we would like to present you about the exploring a lexicon with adapting NLP technology for understanding human language by Professor Kyoko Kanzaki from Otemon, Gakuin University from Japan. Okay, Professor, can you try to share your screen right now?
so thank you very much for inviting us. So may I share?
Yeah, you can share the screen right now.
Slide?
Yes.
Okay.
So while we are waiting for Professor sharing the screen, so I would like to introduce everyone about her short biography. So Professor Kyoko Kanzaki, so received her PhD degree in philosophy from Kobe University, Japan in 2001. And then her research interests includes Japanese linguistics, lexical, semantic, and natural language processing. And she was the Secretary General of the Asia Pacific Association for Machine Translation, or AAMT, and was acting as several chairs and committees members of international academic meetings. Right now, from April 2021, so she's working at Otemon Gakuin University from Japan. Okay, Professor, are you ready now?
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Hi. Okay.
We can see your screen right now. Please start.
Yes. So thank you very much for inviting me to this very exciting lecture series. So my talk about the sorry.
Recording in progress.
Sorry. So sorry. What is my excuse me. Sorry.
Yes, it's clear.
Yes. What is? Sorry. So my talk is exploring lexicon with adapting NLP technology for understand human language. So at first, I talk about my background. So, so as professor introduced me, so I'm standing between the Japanese linguistics field and the NLP field. So I received a master degree from Waseda University, and then Dr. thesis from Kobe University. And then I work at the NICT in NLP field, and then moved to the National Institute for Japanese Language and Linguistics in Japanese linguistic field. And then Toyohashi University and Technology. This is a very NLP field. And now, so I'm here. I'm working at the Otemon Gakuin University. So this is outline of my presentation. At first, I talk about basis of the lexicon. It is maybe a little bit of linguistics, and then I introduced our researches, and then I talk about introduction of our current project. So at first, I talk about what is lexicon. So lexicon is defined as the total amount of knowledge that the speaker remembers in his brain about his native vocabulary. So a lexicon, also called mental lexicon. And the lexicon is said to sometimes lexical collection or word list, something like that. But actually, lexical knowledge is linked and stored by various relations. So lexicon sometimes refers to a lexical database. Here, the explanation of lexicon may be in a wider range of lexicon. So when I talk about the basis of lexicon, I have to talk about the Chomsky theory a little bit. So it can be said that the Chomsky's generative grammar is one of the keys for the development of linguistics and NLP, including lexicon. Why? Generative grammar theory regards linguistics as the study of hypothesis innate grammatical structure. So in his theory, we have the structure of generative grammar inherently. So he tried to elucidate the linguistic knowledge built into the human brain. In linguistics field, they tried to elucidate universal grammar rules for human sentence generation, regardless of individual languages. In NLP field, they thought that computer could generate sentences by performing operations using grammatical rules. So I explain a little bit originative grammar. So it tried to explain the sentence generation using only grammar rule. It did not introduce semantics into their rules in the first stage. So they have two kinds of the rules. The first rule is a phrase structure rules, and second rule is lexical insertion. The sentence consists of noun phrase and verb phrase. And noun phrase consists of the optional determiner and noun. And verbal phrases consist of verb and adverb or noun phrases or preposition phrases. Proposition phrases. And the sentence consists of NP and VP. As I mentioned. So we insert the lexical item from lexical list. We substitute the lexical items from in the lexicon for the noun phrases or verb phrases. So, for example, a dog eat a bone. So we substitute a dog for the NP and eat a bone. We substitute eat a bone for the VP. So, but as you can imagine, only this rule generate the nonsense sentence. So, Chomsky and the Chomskyan people noticed soon. So this example created by Chomsky, the colorless green ideas sleep furiously. This is grammar is good, but the meaning is not that. But then we can not understand. So for generating natural sentences, the semantics is needed. They recognize that the lexical knowledge is also important for generating process. So they set not only syntactic component, but also lexical component. And later, he suggested a framework of semantics, deep structure. So in standard theory, whose theory is Chomsky, he distinct two different structure. One is a deep structure and another one is a surface structure. The two structures are linked to each other by transformational grammar. So the phrase structure rules and the lexical rules work to generate deep structure. And we adapt transformation rules to deep structure and then surface structure created. And when we adapt semantic interpretation rules to deep structure, the semantic structure is generated. So we can understand John sent Mary roses and John sent roses to Mary is the same meaning. And also, just before Chomsky, there is one French linguist, Lucien Peniel. He suggested dependency grammar. So his idea is that a sentence consists of a verb and its complements. So here is a simple example. The verb drink has a set of complements, I and a Coke. So he supported internal linguistic form by Wilhelm von Humboldt. It is a form that is not visible on the surface and looks like a distinction between deep and surface structure indicated by generative grammar. So the Chomsky's theory and Peniel's theory influenced Charles J. Fillmore. So he suggested Charles J. Fillmore suggested case grammar. Case grammar focused on the link between the balance of verb and the grammatical context it requires. So he inspired by the atomic field, so atoms valency. So this theory analyzes the surface syntactic structure of sentences by studying the combination of deep cases. It called semantic laws, such as agent, object, benefactor, location, or instrument, and so on, which are required by a specific verb. This is an example. So for instance, the verb, for instance, give in English requires an agent, object, beneficiary. They are deep cases. So the concrete example is John gives a present to the girl. So the beer linking rules, John gives a present to the girl and John gives the girl a present that are generated with same meaning. So the case grammar has to describe what kind of the deep cases exist for verbs. It's a bit difficult thing, but case grammar has to explain what kind of deep cases exist. But this theory greatly influenced the development of the semantics in both linguistics and NLP. Also, especially lexical semantics made a big progress because definitions of the semantic roles contributed to the analysis of the verb meanings. So from this theory, the lexical semantics goes toward to the lexicalism. The idea is that lexical things are the mainstay of language, and that most of the regularities we think of as grammar are information that should be held at the lexical level. So some linguists suggested that all of the linguistic knowledge can be written in the lexical structures. So for example, LCS, lexical concept structure, and GL, generative lexicon, it's this type of the theories. So LCS, lexical concept structure, is suggested by Grimshaw and developed by the Jackendorf and Levin and Laporte and so on. And generative lexicon is suggested by the James Pustejovsky. So this is a example. So this is a structure of the generative lexicon. And here I show the example of qualia structure. So qualia structure is set of properties of events associated with the lexical items, which best explain what that word means. So the qualia structure is very unique for the lexical semantics field. So for example, novel. The novel has a four semantic structure. The constituent structure means part of relation. So the novel has pages because it's a book. So, and the formal structure. So formal structure is inclusion relation. X is Y. So the novel is a book and novel is a narrative. And then text structure. So it said how to use and its purpose. And also agentive structure. It's origin of something, how it comes out, how it made. So the novel it's that someone write. So next one is from the cognitive psychology field. So the first one is Elena Roche suggested prototype theory. So he suggested some members are psychological salient, that is typical and non-typical. And typical members are called prototype members. The theory that focuses on the prototypicality of member is prototype theory. So the birds, these birds are typical, but the penguin is not typical because it does not fly. And also, I introduced the frame theory from the AI field. The Minsky suggested frame theory. The frame is a kind of skeleton, like an application form with lots of blanks to be filled in. These blanks are called terminals. For example, there are various types of frames that represent room, such as kitchen, bedroom, office, and so on. So these pictures, the kitchen, bedroom, office, is a kind of rooms. So the frame has attribute value format. For each attribute, there is a list of values which is supposed for the instance. For each attribute, there is a value which is called default. The default is a value which is supposed to be typical. And there is a relation between attributes. The frame links to the hypernym concept. So this is example. So this is a concept of bird. So bird has a hypernym. So bird is an animal. And bird has these attributes. So transportation, communication, size, living place, and food. And each attribute has values. So for transportation, there is fly, walk, swim. For the communication, there are Twitter, sing, some values. So they suggested so this theory, and I think mainly AI field, so ontology is constructed. So ontology means a concept, organization of concepts. There are, and then, so the organization of concepts is sometimes called thesaurus in linguistic field. But anyway, the concept of the organization of concept, so ontology, have several types. So one is a terminological ontology. So in terminological ontology, it's like this. Mainly, it's a relation, the hyponym relation. The Brie and so this is example. For example, Brie and Camembert is a hyponym subordinate relation of the cheese, and cheese is belonging to vegetarian food. Oh, really? But anyway, and pasta and rice is belonging to vegetarian food, and vegetarian food is belonging to the food. So this relation is a hierarchical relation. And second type is a prototype based ontology. So Brie Camembert cheese group and a set of pasta cannelloni spaghetti group is linked to the cheese pasta rice beans. So they are sets of similar words under some categories. So the Brie and they are not hyponym relation, not hierarchical relation. It's a kind of network. So they are linked. They are linked like a network. And then, oh, sorry. So now I sum up my talk in the first half. So what information is used in Lexicon? At first, the word, a part of speech and meaning definitions, it's like a language dictionary. So this information is used for dictionaries for human to look up unknown words, morphological analyzer, and language learning. And syntax and lexical information, such as sentence pattern, co-occurrence noun, grammatical information, like a passive, causative aspect, blah, 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 it's used for the dictionary of morphological analyzer and dependency analyzer and language learning. And information on the synonyms, hyponym and hyponym, and paraphrasing used for the information retrieval, dictionaries of terminology, construction of ontology, word sense disambiguation, and language learning. And the other lexicon, so there is a Wordnet. So Wordnet is a lexicon, so this type of lexicon. And so the information on the predicates and their cases and the description of semantic laws and structure of lexical meanings are used for the annotation, sentence generation, word sense disambiguation. So this kind of dictionary is FrameNet, VerbNet, and lexical databases by using HPSG, LCS, and generative lexicon. And information on the statistic information is used for surveying the usage of words, data for calculation of word similarity, and language learning. And recently, so the many researchers working on the sentiment analysis. So the information on the sentiment meanings used for the opinion, extraction, annotation, and so on. So this is a little bit break. I show you a video of Euronews. In the first half, it introduces an international conference at Onsen Hot Spring. And in the second half, Professor Isahara introduces the state of future conference on this video. So instead of break, I show these short movies. Okay.
Autumnal colours of the rising sun country is captivating nature. Its culture of delicacy and elegance seduce those who set a foot on this island. Its beauty and its hospitality have made Japan one of the most important destinations for international meetings. Can you imagine attending an international conference in an onsen, a heavenly thermal spa like this one? We've travelled to Yamagata in the northwest of Japan to discover how its organisers have managed to combine work and relaxation following the Japanese bathing tradition. The volcanic origin of the island makes it a kingdom of thermal waters with more than 3,000 natural springs. You enjoy them in the traditional ryokans with its details, architecture and hospitality, which immerse us in this millenary culture.
Onsen hotels have tried to adjust their facilities and prices to similar venues, and organisers have tried to create something that will be appreciated by foreign customers.
Today, this ryokan is hosting an important medical conference with more than 350 participants. Graham from the United Kingdom is one of them. After a day of intense work, dressed in his kimono, as tradition dictates, he enjoys the opportunity to relax.
At the end of the working day, you get this opportunity to come back and properly relax. I don't think I've ever really kind of felt any sensation quite like the thermal spas and the onsens that these type of hotels have. It just finishes the day off perfectly.
But it's not just a matter of relaxation. These volcanic waters are an important source of well-being, according to this doctor participating at the medical conference.
They're very hot, so it expands your blood vessels and you can relax. There are a lot of minerals in the onsen, like sulfur, salt, and others, which are good for your health. In fact, the best effect for the body balance is that the water is at 38 degrees.
Another important issue for onsen culture is the cuisine. The traditional restaurants parade a variety of carefully prepared dishes, together with a traditional drink based on rice, sake. We travel to Tokyo to learn about an impressive simultaneous translation software. Finding interpreters or placing translation booths in a spa area is not easy. Professor Isahara has developed a powerful tool to facilitate translation for conferences.
Machine translation research has a long history, but its performance didn't develop until 3 years ago, when a new neural network system was created. This system transcribes what we say to text, and that text is then translated into different languages.
Thanks to A1, we can hear his conference in our own language in real time on our devices. Microsoft, the promoter of this technology, the Japanese Translation Council, and Toyohashi University are all working together to improve this software. It's cutting-edge technology for Asia's destination for international conferences.
Okay. Could you relax onsen information? So oh, sorry. 違う。So the Professor Isahara is a previous lecturer in this in this lecture. Yes, and this movie was created 2 or 3 years ago, or so. So his affiliation is the previous affiliation. So the machine translation that they used in a movie is, for example, machine translator and group transcribe. So you can use, if you can use a Microsoft Translator and group transcribe, is the same function, but has the same function. But accuracy, it's I'm not so sure, but you can understand the you can see the translation on this application. So if you are interested in this machine translation, please use them, Microsoft Translator or and Group Transcribe, and maybe there are another machine translation. There may be another another translation, but I just introduced. So the next I talk about our researches. So the at first, I talk about automatic construction of thesaurus of Japanese adjectival concepts. So this is a bit previous research, but I introduced about this. So we try to construct the thesaurus, the organization of concepts, automatically. It means we extracted the similarity relation and hyponym relations of the words. So the our target is adjectives and abstract nouns which represent hyponym concepts of adjectives. So this is example, red flower. So you can understand red flower, but there is nothing between red and flower. So why we can understand? Because we know red is a color and a flower has a color. So we can understand red flower. So here it's invisible attribute concepts of flowers. So in terms of the linguistic point, the semantic relation between color and red is a hyponym relation. That is a superordinate and subordinate relation. So the color is a hyponymic concept, and red. So the red and blue and black and yellow, such things is belonging to the color. So we extracted concepts like that and their values from corpus. Concepts are generally written by abstract nouns in abstract nouns, and values like this. It's normally adjectival. We express adjectival expression. So so we extracted concepts and co-occurring adjectives from the corpora. And we vectorize the abstract nouns concepts by using self-organizing semantic map. So the self-organizing map is a kind of deep structure, but very early deep learning. So the current deep learning and this type of the deep learning is the mechanism is different, but at that time we used a kind of deep learning. So the we encode each abstract noun as multiple vectors like this, and we distributed 365 abstract nouns on the map based on 35,000 adjectives. And self-organizing map can explore synonym relations between words. But we also explore the hyponym relation. So we use the complementary similarity measure, CSM. And so this similarity measure estimates a one-to-many relation, such as superordinate, subordinate relations. And then, sorry, it's not change. It does not change. So so here is the result. Here is CSM-based semantic maps of abstract nouns. The left map is a distribution of 365 abstract nouns. And the right map shows the same map as the left map with draw lines of close relations between two words. The lines are concentrated on the bottom, concentrated on the bottom right-hand corner. Here, the most abstract noun, thing. So next, we find hierarchical relations between whole abstract nouns, not between word pairs on the map automatically. So the this is a list consisting of sets of hyponym and the CSM values. And so AB is an initial hierarchy, and at first we detect hypernyms deeper than B, and then we detect hypernyms shallower than A, and so finally we concatenate all abstract nouns. So this is a hierarchical concept of the concept, kind of a thesaurus. So we don't have a demo, but this is I showed the just result. So and then we evaluated our result comparing to another thesaurus, the big thesaurus we have. We have the big thesaurus EDR dictionary. So we compare our result with it. So and then for comparison, we use the Sheffield's pairwise comparison method. And examining is a total of 20 linguists, lexicographers, natural language processing researchers. So a psychological experiment shows that hierarchical relationship of automatic construction was 43% better than the hierarchical relation of EDR. And then, so when I was in NICT, we constructed a Japanese Wordnet. So have you, I think, so in Thailand, there are Thai Wordnet. So we also constructed a Japanese Wordnet. So Wordnet constructed by the researcher in professor and researcher in Princeton University. So we translate the synsets from the Princeton Wordnet. So the Wordnet consists of the synset number and synonyms and the definition of a synset and pointers of linking to another synset and link to another ontology. And picture corresponding with concept of a synset. But yes. So recently they so they add the information, another extra information. So external links. So you can find the sentiment information in this Wordnet. So this example is young man or youth. So generally, young man and youth is a very good meaning, but sometimes it's not so. Sometimes not so good meaning. So the sentiment Wordnet so give the little bit minus score. So this is a kind of example. So the now Wordnet has about 57,000 concepts. So this is the Japanese Wordnet, but if you are interested in the Japanese Wordnet, please access here, or just write the Japanese Wordnet. The Japanese Wordnet will be hit. So the third one is when I was I was working as the National Institute for Japanese Language and Linguistics. I constructed the Japanese compound verb lexicon. So the Japanese is known to be rich in compound verbs consisting of two verbs joined together, VB compound verbs. So the Japanese compound verb consists of two verbs, but they are regarded as one word. For example, hikari kagayaku. So this compound word consists of two verbs as follows. Hikari means give off light, and kagayaku shine. Kagayaku means shine. So the hikari kagayaku is one word. So we have compound verb, but also in Thailand, you have a similar compound verb. So the this is example. So put to plus ja. It is correct. Puja. It means a kind of speaking. So you have the similar example, I think. So in Japanese, we have this type of the many types of these compound verbs. And then we have two kinds of the verb compound verbs. So we treat verb compound verbs. We don't treat verb noun compound verb or verb adjective compound verbs. We only treat the verb compound verbs. And we have two kinds of the compound verbs. One is a lexical compound verbs, and another one is a syntactic compound verbs. And syntactic compound verbs is so this is example. So the V1 is complement for V2, and V2 is like an aspectual meaning. So for example, start thinking, start running, start eating. So in Japanese, they are a compound verb, one word. But this is very syntactic. The V2 is very syntactic. It's a kind of aspectual verb. And this type is very productive. So the characteristics of syntactic compound verbs is V2 is mainly an aspectual verb and also are limited to 30 verbs, which are classified into 9 categories, and no restriction on the first verbs. And also grammatical elements may fit in the first verb position. So syntactic compound verbs is little bit have a syntactic characteristics. In other hand, so in the lexical compound verbs, in lexical compound verbs, V2 requires the specific meaning to V1 for the combination. So lexical combination is more tight rather than syntactic combination. So this is the same example as the previous slide. So shine like the sun, hikari kagayaku, the give off light and shine very much. And another example is yorisou. Yorisou is also consists of two verbs, approach and accompany. So in the case of lexical compound verb, the meaning derived from two concatenated verbs is not simple addition of V1 and V2. In the case of syntactic compound verbs, it's a simple addition of V1 and V2, start running, start eating. But the lexical compound verb is, some lexical compound verbs become a metaphor or add some more meanings. So we constructed verb compound verb lexicons. So the this it's so I'd like to I explain this lexicon using these slides, and so this is a list of compound verbs, and each verb has grammatical information, transitive verb or intransitive verb, and also verb structure, and then each compound verb has meaning and definition and example and the syntactic pattern. And if you push this button, you can see the statistic information. So the design of Japanese compound verb lexicon, the lexicon covers more than 2,700 lexical compound verbs. And only lexical compound verbs are included. And yeah, as I mentioned, they have a semantic definition, example sentence, and also case patterns and word structure, and also the translation of the Chinese, Korean, and English. So you can search compound noun in the by using a Roman character, and you can look up the meaning, such information in English. So after construction of the verb compound lexicon, we built a list of synonymous words and phrases of Japanese compound verbs. So the purpose is to construct the list of synonymous expressions for compound verbs, and we link compound verbs and their synonymous expressions to the Japanese compound verb lexicon. And we would like to know why synonymous expressions of we would like to know what meanings compound verbs convey. So as I mentioned, some combination of two verbs are not the simple concatenation of single verbs. So we extracted the synonym expression of the lexical compound verbs. So so we built a list of synonymous expression from compound verbs in automatic way and in manual way. So yeah, and then I explain later. And we analyze what meanings compound verbs convey based on the synonymous expressions that we built. So the data that we used, we used compound verbs the 2,700 lexical compound verbs, which are registered in compound verb lexicon. And for extraction of synonymous expressions, we used 500 million sentences in web corpus. So this is procedure and automatic extraction. So at the first step, we have to do a preparation. So not all compound verbs are registered in dictionaries of morphological analyzer. For unregistered compound verbs, we concatenate two verbs. So for example, nage ireru is not registered in the dictionary of morphological analyzer, so we have to concatenate it. So we have to concatenate it, these two verbs as one compound verb. And we made phrases in order to calculate similarities between compound verb and the relevant phrases. So we bundle verbs and adverbial words. So for example, correctly understand. So we want to treat correctly understand as one unit. So we bundle verb and adverbial words. So we made one phrases. And we exclude some syntactic information. And then we created this list. So this is a set of the noun, verb, and case marker. In Japanese, we have a case marker, like a subject case marker, object case marker, the place case marker, something like that. So, we constructed this kind of the list, noun, verb, case marker. So this, yes. And then we input this linguistic data into the Word2Vec, which is a deep learning method, and we vectorize all of the words, and then we calculated the similarity relation between compound verb and verbal phrases using cosine similarity. And for each compound verb, the verb and verbal phrases were arranged in descending order from the highest score. And finally, for each compound verb, we got 2,000 synonym expressions in order from the highest score of cosine similarity. However, in this list, the polysemy of compound verbs were stored together. So we have to separate it. So next, we explored the semantic clusters for each compound verb. Now we have 2,000 candidates of synonymous expressions for each compound verb. So we narrow down the number of the synonymous candidates, synonymous phrases, and then we clustered 2,000 candidates into some classes. So we used K-means measure and PCA. So at first, I talk about the narrowing down to the number of synonymous expression. So now, again, we have 2,000 expressions for each compound verb, and we classify 2,000 expressions into 64 clusters, and we reorder these expressions according to the cosine similarity, like this, and we choose 10 expressions from the top. And now, so the 64 clusters, each 64 clusters have a 10 expression. So total is 640 expressions. So the 640 expressions are classified into 10 clusters. And again, the order expressions according to cosine similarity. And we chose the 10 expression from the top. Finally, we got the 100 expressions. So this is input data for PCA. So 600, yes. And so this is a mistake. 100 expression, sorry, it's okay. This explanation, it's corresponds to here, so sorry. Yeah, finally, we classified 100 expression, expressions. So we used k-means on this process, but the problem of k-means method measure is to need to set the number of clusters in advance. However, the number of senses of a compound verb differs from each other. So we tried to detect the appropriate numbers of senses of each compound verb by using principal component analysis. So this is the result. Sorry in Japanese, but here the words are separate. So synonym expressions are clearly separated, clearly classified into 3 categories. So here, sense 1, so the meaning is, this compound noun is mochikomu. Mochikomu, the typical meaning is carry into, bring in Japanese. So as another sense, we got the carry to one's advantage, and finally going to win, or something like that. And as another meaning, third meaning is adapt or introduce. So we sometimes say we use this word for the, so we say he introduced new culture in Japan or something like that. So in third meaning is adapt and introduce, something like that. So as a result, synonym expressions for 1,800 compound verbs were obtained automatically, but we have to evaluate by human. So for 40 compound verbs, so for 40 compound verbs, which are the are the most frequent compound verbs in our corpus. The first evaluation is suitability for synonymous expressions. And second evaluation is the suitability of clusters as senses of compound verbs. And this is the sheet for evaluation. We compare the compound, the definition, and the example of the registered in the compound verb lexicon. And the list is here. It's our result. So about the suitability for the synonymous expressions, as shown in table 1, 59% of extracted words are evaluated as synonymous. If we consider opposite meaning of semantic description in CVL as proper extraction, the correct ratio increases to 70%. But even except the opposite meaning, the suitability, they evaluate for the suitability, they evaluate 59% is good. And then about the suitability of clusters as senses of compound verb. So 65% of extracted clusters are evaluated as representing the proper meaning of compound verbs. And the total number of meanings of 40 compound verbs registered in compound verb lexicon is 64. Among them, 40 meanings could not be obtained by our method. And then, so we will add more synonymous expression to the list by hand. And we analyzed what meanings compound verbs convey. So this is a result of distribution of the synonymous. So we distributed the synonymous expressions of compound verb into the category of the Japanese thesaurus Bunrui Goihyo. So some expression belonging to the action category, but the expression, all expression is verbal verbs or verbal phrases, so we can understand they are belonging to action. But also they are belonging to the mind category. So we think the synonyms of compound verbs or the meaning of compound verb may represent verbal meanings with the speaker's emotional and sensuous expressions, and they stand on the border of words and phrases. So next, final topic is our current and future work. And so researches which are presented in this talk are partially supported by Knowledge Hub Aichi Priority Research Project from Aichi Prefectural Government. And so in this research project, 2 universities, 6 companies, and 1 social welfare corporation joined. And we have there are we have some project. So knowledge extraction, machine translation, and conversation system. And in conversation system, there are two kinds of research. One is a nursing robot. So now I'm engaging in a nursing robot. We made a dialogue of the dialogue system with the aged person, and also FAQ retrieval. So this is used for the local government, and the machine translation is used for industries. And we also have a research of touristic information processing, and we are in our project, we are using Lulubu, the longest series of published travel guides, as certified by the Guinness World Records. Yeah, and they have travel guide on Japan in Japanese for Japanese, and travel guide on foreign country in Japanese for Japanese, and travel guide on Japan in foreign language for foreigners. So one kind of this is example. The Tokyo Skytree, which has become the symbol of Tokyo, is the tallest tower in the world, certified by the Guinness World Records. At its base, in addition to the Tokyo Soramachi, are commercial facilities with cutting-edge shops and aquarium, planetarium, and so on, etc., and entertainment throughout the day. So very attractive articles is in this book. So please visit Japan to see Tokyo Skytree. So by using these guidebooks, we have several researches. And by using guidebook on Japan for Japanese, we will develop a bigger search engine for travel information retrieval and chatbot. By using guidebook on Japan for Japanese and for foreigner as parallel corpus, we will develop a machine translation system for tourism. As guidebooks have various information such as access, opening time, and price. So we plan to develop assistance system for travel planning by using such variety of information. So my talk is finished. That's all. So thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Sensei. So right now, our session is online with the Facebook Live, including the YouTube Live, and then in this Zoom. So we have several participants from different channels. And right now, our staff are collecting the questions from each channel from the participants. And right now, we have some questions from the participants. So the first one, the question is that in the future, since AI is very progress, do you think the Google automatic translation will be improved more better than now?
Yes. But before that, where I read the comment. Okay, here. Oh, in the future. Oh, yes. Yes, I think so. Definitely, I think so. because the Google and Microsoft, so the big company gather a lot of the data. So our spoken data and the writing data, a lot of data. So they have a facility to store the big, huge data. So so AI needs big data. So the Google automatic translation and Microsoft translation definitely improve more in the future. And it is, I think it is not dream to discuss various things with our own languages. So as you see the video, yeah, yes.
Thank you so much. Next question that I got from the participant: how can self-organizing map or SOM reveal the semantic? How can self-organizing map reveal the semantic? So I'm gonna type the question for you.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So the so as a result, so adjective, we can verify the several meanings of a kind of concepts that adjectives have, that adjectives convey. So we didn't say the results that like this comment, but we have five concepts of adjectives. Five very hypernymic concept of adjectives. So they so like situation, feeling, and so feeling and degree and characteristics, and so the result corresponds to so our result is corresponded to the language field, the description of the language field. And so in linguistic fields, they have the same hypernymic meaning of adjectives. So we can verify we could verify the result in the linguistic field, and then we can find one more new hypernymic concept. But this is in Japanese, so but we could find one more new concept which does not describe in the linguistic field.
Thank you so much. Next one, we have another question. And how can we know that the accuracy from the NLP that we got from the experiment is okay to use for real life related problems?
Yes. Yes, it's yes. So this is a so difficult thing. So the yes. So the in my opinion, the accuracy does not become 100%. So so we have to conduct an experiment evaluation by human. So we cannot, we don't believe 100% the 100% we don't believe that we should not the result in 100%. We should not believe that 100%. So what I mean said so the we have to so finally we have to consider the result by human. I think not 100. The automatic result is not 100%. So we have consider very carefully to adapt something, to adapt our result to the something. So yes, sorry.
So we have another question. Can we connect with experts in that domain?
So the so in that domain, sorry, that domain, what meaning is that domain? Sorry. What domain? NLP domain or linguistic domain or?
Okay, maybe Virapon, can you turn on microphone and ask?
Yes, Professor, thank you for your sharing. It's a good topic today. And my question is, I work as a KM discipline, and I have like a question that what can we judge the accuracy from the NLP in the term of the KM? We use like we call the domain expert to judge like the precision and the recall in specific domain, for example, healthcare, tourism, or maybe manufacturing, for example. Did you have experience that you like expert to judge for the precision and the recall?
Yes. Yes, thank you for your question.
Yes.
So we are actually so we can connect with expert, and so depending on depending on the field, the difficulty is different. So for example, the tourism.
Yes.
In the case of tourism, the in Japan, so we have many guidebook and many information. So if we have such many kind of information, the NLP system can calculate correctly, accurately. Yeah, so accuracy is high, but the inside of the industry, so they don't want to open the data, their data. So that case, the data is very few. So so the in the industrial field, for example, the inside document, if the people in company want to translate the inside document company into another foreign language, maybe it's difficult. So the NLP, so NLP technology is maybe not enough because they don't have the enough data. So depending on the domain, so the number of the data is different. The information is different. So yeah, so yes, if so I think so data is a key to so connect expert in each domain. Yeah, yes, I don't know the answer.
Yes.
Or not, but yes.
Yes, thank you very much, Sensei.
Thank you.
Okay, so we still have like more question from the participant that I got right now. So next question is that, okay, there are many human languages using right now. How can we choose the suitable grammars to describe that human language?
Yeah, very good and difficult question. But yes, so yes, actually I have no exact idea about this question. So yeah, so but now we know we cannot construct the complete grammar from zero. We cannot construct the the perfect grammar. Perfect grammar, and we cannot. I think we cannot describe only by using only the grammar written by human. So but in this stage, human knowledge is very important, and NLP technology cannot find deep human knowledge. Cannot find deep human knowledge now. So I don't have the appropriate answer for this for his question. But so but depending on the task, the suitable grammar and the lexical knowledge is different, I think. So So in shallow level, if you conduct information retrieval in shallow level, maybe the synonymization and hyponymization it's may be enough. It's enough. So enough information. But if you retrieve more deep information, so the only synonymization and hierarchical relation is not enough. We may need to our favorite, the emotional information or the more common knowledge. We need more common knowledge, and also in the dialogue system, maybe much more. We need much more knowledge, and in dialogue system, our conversation, the grammar is sometimes broken. So I sometimes block the grammar, but yeah, in the dialogue. So in the dialogue, human dialogue, sometimes grammar broken. At that time, we need. We need the deep knowledge. We need knowledge, even that information is invisible. We can make a conversation. So depending on the task, the suitable information like grammar or lexical knowledge is different, I think. So sorry, I cannot answer a perfect answer. I cannot give you the perfect answer, but now, yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay, thanks so much. Next one. Another question. In the lecture that you mentioned many different types of database. Could you please give us some examples of lexicon database or resources that we can use for research, even in Japanese or other languages?
Oh, yes. So yes, but yeah, in Japanese, we have many corpus and databases, and so but we don't have a site. We don't have a site in which we see all of them together. So, but so the NLP researcher and linguistic researcher have the database in their own university and organization. So and also in linguistic field, in the Institute for Natural Language, Institute for Japanese Language and Linguistics has the database, open the database in their site. So the Ninja, the abbreviation form is Ninja. So if you search the Ninja, you can go to the site of the that organization, and you can go to the several Japanese database, and also I wrote the URL of the Wordnet, Japanese Wordnet. So the Japanese Wordnet, sorry. So the Japanese word, if you research the Japanese Wordnet, you can go to the Japanese Wordnet site, and you can find some information. And also so several university and organization have the database, and if you are interested in the Japanese database, please let me know. Please contact me, so I can I let you know the database in Japanese, not only in Japanese maybe, but something I can let you know some information. Please send me email.
We still have some more questions. Next question, in your opinion, what the format of the lexicon will be in next 2 to 3 years?
Oh. So the lexicon format, so the yes, so the if deep learning make a progress, I don't know whether the lexicon need or not, but in the current stage, we need the lexicon, and so the and also the previous day until now, so the calculation computer power is not enough, so the lexicon have to so we have to construct the lexicon by human finally. So but if the computer have a power, will have a power, we may be able to generate the semantic knowledge of the maybe we calculate the semantic knowledge of the semantic knowledge of human by the computer. But current stage, the human knowledge not enough, so we have to add more information on our emotional emotional information. We have to add the emotional information to the lexicon, I think. So also human is different each other. So and our thinking is also, the way to think is also different. So so we have to add the knowledge of the like a common sense and the individual, the knowledge that individual person have. So we have to we have to write. We have to have the two kind of knowledge. One is the common sense, and another one is the knowledge of the knowledge that individual person have. So yeah, so I don't know the lexicon format in the future, but so we need something. Some knowledge is calculated by computer, and some information. So we have to add some another information to the lexicon. So like a human emotion, like that. Yes, sorry, I am not good. Yeah, I cannot answer well, but
we still have like a core question that I got from the participant. So next one, how can we detect that like a new compound verb and add them to the lexicon automatically? The new compound verb.
Yeah, so the so now so in this talk I treated only the lexical verb compound verb, but so noun verb compound adverbial, so another compound verb have very productive. So so the compound verb, the number of compound verb in Japanese is limited. So only around 2,700, well, so around 3,000 compound verbs. Only so we have only 3,000 compound verbs. So, but if we treat another compound words, we have to detect the new combination. So now we don't treat this another combination of the compound verb, but so the after verb compound verb, so we have to think about the another kind of verb, compound words. But in Japanese, compound verbs is very limited. The number of compound verbs is limited.
Another one. So you built a compound verb lexicon. What do you think about compound noun lexicon?
Yes. So compound noun lexicon is, I think, very productive. So in Thailand, it's the same situation. Yeah, I think that the unknown compound noun words produced many compound noun produced, and there are many unknown compounds, I think, because noun compound is very productive. So I think it's a very important task, I think, especially in the SNS domain. The compound verb, compound nouns are created and also the diminished. So compound words are very important. So especially in Japanese, I don't know in Thai language, but in Japanese, we use kanji character, Chinese character, very difficult kanji character, difficult to shape, difficult shape. So this kanji character produced the many kinds of the words. So we have to we have to do this research too. Yeah, thank you for your comment.
Okay, thank you so much. Right now we have the 0 questions for this session. However, if the participant want to ask more questions, you can raise your hand in the Zoom application, or you can type the question in the meeting chat. And during the question, I would like to introduce to let you know what we're gonna have in next Saturday. So as you can see from here, we're gonna have another special lecture online. It's about the knowledge management and big data in business. So the industry 4.0 perspective from the Professor Dr. Iris Swiss. He's the Knowledge Management Award 2021 winner. So you're gonna try and come and join us on Saturday, this Saturday, from 1 to 3 p.m. in the afternoon. And then we're gonna have another special session. And okay, let me prepare for this. On next Wednesday, so we have another interesting topic by Professor Yasuke Kyoko in the topics of the AI and semantic computing with 5D world map system. And we're going to have lecture and practice together on Wednesday, 26th January from 2 to 4 p.m. Thailand time. Okay. And if you guys still have questions, you can let us know. And I think it's almost the time now. So let me try this one. Okay. So as you can see from today, that we have the Professor Kanzaki with us, and we have the special online lectures about the Lexicon with the adapting NLP technology for understanding human language. So I think that our participants from the Zoom, from the YouTube, and from the Facebook Live right now, so you gain more and experience about this topic. And we hope that you have like expand your concept on your thought how to apply this NLP techniques to your future works. Anyway, thank you so much, Professor Kanzaki, for your providing our special lecture for us.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so this I think is the time for our session today, and see you again next session. So the session today is just finished. So thank you everyone for joining us this special activities. So see you again. Bye bye.
Thank you very much, Sensei.